The Dallas Mavericks just did the unthinkable, and I'll show you how they are up 3-1 against a team that beat the defending champions. To start the game, it really was the worst case scenario for Minnesota, as here the Wolves blitz Doncic. However, Luka makes the pass out to Gafford, but this is exactly what the Wolves want. Gafford, not being a three-point shooter, isn't a threat from here, but you know who is?
Rudy Gobert. Gafford is in the corner, and this is a three.
PJ Washington. PJ went 2 of 14 over games 1 and 2, but at home the role players always play better. Then Minnesota blitz again, only for Luka to again make the pass to Washington, but with a defense in rotation, he swings to Jones and he makes his first 3 of the series. So Minnesota, scared by the role players making shots, go back into a drop coverage. Spoiler alert, that was a terrible mistake, because Luka can make shots like this.
Gafford. It's 1-on-1, 3 Luka.
For Rudy, his confidence has taken a shot, and even here, PJ Washington beat him off the dribble for an easy layup. Then to make matters worse, he was lured out by Jones Jr., who made a point guard-like pass for Derek Lively, who put the Defensive Player of the Year on a poster. And just as you thought it couldn't get any worse for the Wolves, Dallas make them pay again on a simple pick and roll where nobody tags Lively, and if you play defense this poorly, it's going to be 2 points every single time. Derek Lively was simply everywhere in the opening stages of this game. Here, Anthony Edwards blows by Josh Green. However, Luka does a brilliant job at buying Lively just enough time to come over and swat it away. With Luka and Kyrie both playing great defense, the Mavericks are nearly unbeatable, as even though Luka has a seemingly endless amount of injuries, he still puts his body on the line and takes a charge against Anthony Edwards. But early he was doing all the big things too, hitting a tough fall-away jumper and then creating enough separation to hit a step back over Jaden McDaniels. But it wasn't just Luka creating plays on offense, as Kyrie Irving had it going in a big way here in Game 3. Here he channels his inner Stephen Curry and makes a pass out to Green, and then he relocates for a wide open corner 3. This defense is disgraceful, as Edwards gets caught ball watching after Kyrie makes the pass, giving him way too much room for an open 3. Now feeling it, Kyrie makes a play only he could make, losing Alexander Walker on a quick change of direction without the ball, and once Naz Reid steps up, Kyrie simply just brings the ball over him and then fends off Walker for a right-handed off-balance finish. Plays like this speak to the importance of Minnesota being elite defensively to have any chance against the Mavericks. Early in the game though, Minnesota were able to keep the game close, but the bench unit for the Mavericks killed them, as here Jaden Hardy makes a tough shot to beat the buzzer, then Josh Green connects on a triple only moments later. On this occasion, Josh Green is smart enough to make the extra pass, leading to a wide open corner 3 from Jones, who ended the night without a miss from deep. Then it's Irving again, drawing 4 defenders and still having enough time and space to make a shot. Keep in mind, all of this is happening with Luka Doncic on the bench, which can't happen when you're playing the Mavericks. Then, just when Edwards thinks he has Kyrie beat, he puts a left-handed hook shot over not only him, but Rudy Gobert as well. Kyrie was excellent, putting up 33 points on 60% shooting, perfectly keeping the offense flowing while Luka was on the bench. When you have been outscored without Luka in the game and he comes back, it's a nightmare. As here, Rudy is in far too deep of a drop, and with a perfect screen by Gafford, Kyrie cashes on another open 3. Stan Van Gundy keeps mentioning how he believes that the duo of Doncic and Irving is the best offensive backcourt of all time. And with games like this where they combine for 66 points, you can't really argue with him. Here, Luka gets a catch-and-shoot 3 on his favorite spot on the court. And if you're giving up that good of a look to the best offensive player in the league, your defense has serious issues. Before, Kyrie and Luka never once had a look like this, but because of the gravity that they both demand, they can both now find themselves open off the ball. For the Timberwolves though, Anthony Edwards promised that he would come out way more aggressive in Game 3.
I'm going to be super aggressive. I mean, I haven't took more than 16 shots in each game, so I'm going to be ultra aggressive coming out for sure.
And even though his stat line ends up looking pretty good, it hides the poor decision making, which resulted in 5 turnovers and lost possessions on offense. This is a prime example of poor decision making and overthinking by Edwards. Here the Wolves finally switch Luka onto Edwards, but for some reason Rudy comes over to set a screen, and then for another unexplained reason, Ant decides to swing a pass to Cat, who was 0-4 from 3, and he makes it 0-5. The Wolves just look confused on offense, as on the opening play of the game, Ant and Conley swing the ball to Cat, who is stuck in the corner and nobody's moving for him, which results in a predictable drive to the basket, which gets swatted away by Daniel Gafford. I should have turned the TV off after the Wolves started the second half with a Rudy Gobert post touch. The Mavericks must love it when Kyle Anderson checks into the game, as here nobody guards him, and even though he makes the shot, Dallas are willing to live with these results. This was one of the worst possessions of the game for the Wolves. With Gafford switched onto Edwards, Ant has to use his quickness to get to the cup, but instead with time time running down, he gives the ball up to Naz Reid, who attempts a pray over hook shot ending in an air ball. Even though Anthony Edwards was great in the third quarter, he only managed to put up 4 points in the fourth, as he was clearly still overthinking everything while he was out there. As when you have Kyle Anderson making bailout shots for you down the stretch, something is seriously wrong. But somehow Minnesota were able to get back into this game, after they trailed by as much as 12 in the second quarter. First, Luka shows Ant exactly what to do when you get a mismatch, as he stops on a dime and fades over Naz Reid for 2. Then Edwards takes on that advice and scores over Gafford with a tough finish. But for Minnesota, it was all downhill from here, as Karl Anthony Towns tries to put Gafford on a poster and quickly has it swatted away. Then the bailout shot by Kyle Anderson, which was a horrible play by Anthony Edwards, as he yet again had Luka switched onto him and was unable to take advantage. Then Kyrie takes Ant to score again with the same left-handed hook that he made earlier in the game to tie it. Then a complete catastrophe on defense for Minnesota, as Edwards inexplicably leaves Irving open, putting Conley in a 2-on-1 for a wide-open 3 by Washington. But even when the Wolves played great defense, Luka and Kyrie would still make shots like this.
Works by McDaniels, who's got to be careful. Spins, fades, fires. Irving and Edwards, Towns will pick him up. Backpedals, long shot!
They were able to make these shots obviously because of their offensive talents, but also because of the bad defense they faced earlier in the game. And even on defense down the stretch, the Mavericks were thriving, as here Daniel Gafford makes a Superman-esque block, as Dallas kept Minnesota scoreless for 4 minutes with their season on the line. Then to put the cherry on top, the same play that had haunted the Wolves all series long was a dagger, as Luka perfectly placed this pass to the outstretched hands of Gafford for 2. The finals between Dallas and Boston would feed families. With Kyrie playing in the finals against the Celtics and Porzingis returning to Dallas, there would be so many narratives in this series. As with both teams up 3-0, it's looking pretty set in stone. Who do you have winning the championship this season? Let me know in the comments below.